Off with brief comments from our general manager, Kobe Altman.
We going? Am I on here? Okay. This is an extremely exciting day for the Cavaliers and our organization and the city of Cleveland as we welcome the newest members of our Cavaliers family. I'll go, I guess, left on down. Isaiah Thomas, just being around him the last couple days, you realize what a special human being this guy is. Obviously, you talk about him being an all-star and what he did for the Celtics, but he is just an incredible, high-character human being. And you can tell he fights for everything, and everything he's earned, he's fought for. And so I'm excited to add his toughness, his grittiness, his attitude, his work ethic to this team. And just being around him the last 3 days, I can see how him and Jay were the heart and soul of a Celtics team that finished first in the East last year. Those guys were a big part of that. And so we're just excited to welcome them and their families. IT's wife, Kayla's here as well. Here we go. Welcome to Cleveland, guys. So that's Isaiah. We'll talk more about what he does on the floor, but I've just been more impressed with him as a human being more than anything. Jay Crowder, that's a guy that we've liked for quite some time. And I don't know if John Nichols is here. He's our director of analytics. He's probably the most excited of all because he's like an analytics marvel, Jay Crowder. His on-court, off-court, plus-minus is at a high level, and he contributes to winning at an extremely high level. That's why we value him to that extent. But he also brings a tough, gritty attitude defensively, pick up the best player. He's going to bring that to this team, and he's a core piece to this Cavaliers team moving forward. Jay has also gotten better every year he's been in the league. He's also added to his repertoire. His three-point shooting was at a career high last year of something like 39.8%. That's going to add tremendous value to our team as he spaces the floor for us, but also picks up the other team's best player. Ante Zizic, we know pretty well through the draft process and then also scouting him this past year. He's a 20-year-old that's played at the highest level of the EuroLeague. He's also tough. He plays with motor, and we're excited about his growth as a young big for this franchise. So this is a great day for our franchise in terms of adding these players to our team. And Coach Lou will talk about how he's going to integrate them. But these guys are going to add a whole lot to this franchise. So with that said, before we do Q&A, I would like to formally introduce them with jerseys. Sorry, guys. A little tight up here. Jay. Jay Crowder. And Mr. Ante Zizic.
Okay, you got it. Thank you.
Got that new Goodyear logo.
Okay. Great. We can start out with questions with Tom.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. Welcome to Cleveland, you guys. Isaiah, was curious to find out about how the hip is doing. If you can give us any kind of timetable on when you might be ready to play.
So I'll address that. Obviously, it's been sort of well documented, the hip injury the past week and a half, and to be fair to Isaiah, we're not going to address any specifics of the hip injury. We're also not going to put a timetable on his return. We're not going to rush it at all. We're very fortunate that we have some of the best doctors in the world at the Cleveland Clinic, and we're also very fortunate that we have some of the best performance team in the league that has a well thought out plan and an established plan in place that IT's already started. And again, we're not going to rush this thing. The goal is to bring him back at some point this year and be healthy and compete and get back to IT status. And that's our goal and our responsibility to him. But we're just not going to address the specifics of the injury and not going to comment on a timetable.
With all due respect, Isaiah, can you tell us what you're able to do right now?
Well, I'm able to. I'm just getting treatment each and every day, working out in the weight room, and that's the most that I'm doing right now. We have like Kobe said, we have a plan set, and we're just gonna attack that plan and get me back to 100% as soon as possible. So.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Appreciated your essay yesterday. It was good stuff. When did you know that you had suffered a torn labrum last year?
So again, like I don't want this to be the Isaiah Thomas hip press conference, and so I'm just gonna, with all due respect, shut down the hip questions. If we want to talk about Isaiah, let's talk about Isaiah the All-Star. Let's talk about Isaiah, the guy that averaged 29 points a game last year. Let's talk about him as a leader and what he's going to bring to this franchise in terms of his performance on the floor when we get him back. So again, guys, we appreciate the questions, but this is not going to turn into the Isaiah Thomas hip press conference. We want to talk about what he's going to add and contribute to this team and what these guys are going to bring to the table, and how we're going to continue to try to compete for a championship with these guys' help.
David Grennan, ESPN. All due respect to you, Kobe, we'd love to talk about Isaiah as a 29-point-per-game scorer and an all-star, but when could we be talking about that? And what's the team's plan in the interim, considering, you trade away your starting point guard?
Sure. So we're very fortunate to have signed Derrick Rose. And we've also had Jose Calderon, who's been in the gym every day since I think we acquired him. So he's sort of locked in and ready to go as well. We don't, again, I'm not going to put a timetable on it. I don't think it's fair to put a timetable on it. We're not going to rush to bring him back. But that's sort of where we're gonna leave it. And I appreciate the question, but that's sort of where we are on that.
Can I follow up with that? Isaiah, nice to meet you. What interaction have you had with LeBron James since you found out about the trade 16 days ago?
He's texted me a few times. He's reached out. I know he's reached out to Jay as well, and he's just excited about what we can bring to the table and how we can help. And I mean, to speak for myself, I'm excited to play with the best player in the world. I've been in situations before where things have been a little tough and we haven't had the best players, but we just kept fighting and worked with what we had. But I mean, being put in this situation on the court is everything. I mean, it is to play with, the best player in the world, to play with a guy like Kevin Love and J.R. Smith and Derrick Rose, and to be coached by a guy like Tyronn Lue, who's played in this league for a long time. It's like I said it in my Players Tribune piece yesterday. It's like a match made in heaven. Like it's a scary thing if everything is able to click with the guys we have coming in and the guys we have on this team. So, like I said, I'm excited, and I can't wait to get going.
Sherrod Blakely, Comcast Sportsnet, New England, here on your left. Actually, question for Isaiah, and then another one for you, Jay.
You travel all the way down here, huh?
You know it. Isaiah, in the Players Tribune that you just mentioned, you talked about being hurt by how this went down. You've been traded before. How is this different for you? And my question for you, Jay, well, first of all, just condolences to you and your family, first and foremost. But for you, take us through what that day was like, where I know your emotions were all over the map. And but Isaiah, if you can answer first question and Jay second, because I don't know if I'm going to get this mic again. That's why I'm doing it two for one.
Well, mine was it was surprising. It definitely caught me off guard, but it also woke me up. It made me realize that this is a business, and anybody other than probably LeBron James and Kevin Durant and those type of guys can be traded. And I prayed on it. I thought about it. I slept on it, and I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm blessed to be able to be traded to a situation where realistically we can win a championship next year. Like, I couldn't ask for any better. And I'm just taking it day by day, making this transition, because that's going to be the hardest part, transition to my family and things like that. But the basketball standpoint, I mean, it's going to be easy. I've been playing, shooting on the 10-foot hoop since I was like 7. So the balls are the same and the hoop is the same. And to be able to be in this organization and compete is what I'm excited about.
Does it hurt more, Isaiah, the fact that when you look at their core going forward, you had a direct hand in all three of those guys being in Boston?
We built that, but it's all good. Like I said, it's the business of it, and there's no hard feelings. I'm not upset with anybody. I was surprised, like I said, but I'm happy to be here. My kids is in school, so as long as they're not tripping, then I'm good for the most part. So, like I said, it's basketball, and we'll figure out everything else when that time comes.
And Jay, just on just that day for you, and just kind of putting everything in perspective and dealing with all that you had to deal with.
Well, there was a lot going on that day, obviously. The good thing about the whole ordeal was I was able to whisper it to my mom before she passed. I was with her. I just told her we're going to Cleveland. And like 5 minutes later, she passed. But yeah, that day was tough. But it was a good day for me, for myself, for my basketball career to move on to an organization like this, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, and to be able to put myself in position to play for it all. I couldn't ask for nothing else. I was thankful to Boston for everything they've done for me, and for trading me to a team like this. I was thankful for the opportunity, and yeah, that day was pretty wild.
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. Kobe, I understand you don't want to talk about the hip, but I'm just curious. We're more than 3 months out, almost 4 months out since the injury. So is it that you don't have a timeline yet, or you don't want to put undue pressure on him to meet the timeline to return?
So our responsibility is to get him back to 100%. And that's our goal. And our performance team, like I said in previous questions, has mapped out a great plan, a multifaceted plan to really attack this thing. And Isaiah is deeply committed to that. And so day by day, as he gets better, I think we'll have a better grasp of it, and we'll let you guys know when those thresholds are crossed. But that's sort of all I'll comment on that for now.
But so it doesn't sound like you have a date in mind yet for – it's not that you're not sharing it with us, it's that you don't have one. Is that fair?
I don't want to talk about a timeline right now, no.
Following up, are you confident that there's going to be enough time? Certainly there's going to be a learning curve involved when you put Isaiah with LeBron and those two guys learn how to play together. Is there going to be enough time in your mind for these guys to figure that out and how to play together prior to what it's really going to count for the playoffs and moving forward?
Finally, a Coach Lou question.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Jason, just adding a guy like Isaiah, Jay, Big Z, you know, adding D Rose, adding Jeff Green, adding Calderon. I think we've done a great job of adding great pieces to this team. We're going to be different. But when you add an all-star, a guy who was, up for MVP, fifth in MVP votes, and you add LeBron James, who can play with anybody in the world, it's not going to take long for those guys to click. And it's going to be my job to make sure I put these guys together, get them on the same page. But, talking to Isaiah yesterday, I want him to be Isaiah. Don't come in to defer and, looking to try to fit in. And LeBron and Kevin and those guys, they don't want that. Come in, play his game, be aggressive, be the scorer that he is, that we know he can score the basketball. And we're just very excited that, we get a guy that averaged 29 points a game. He gets to the free throw line, makes big shots, not afraid of the moment. And it's big for us. And then you add a guy like Jay Crowder, who is a great defensive player who can guard, 4 positions. Is a 40% three-point shooter, brings a lot of toughness, an element that we need to add to this team. So with D Rose being able to step in and, play those minutes until Isaiah gets back and gets healthy, and adding a veteran like Calderon, who is a very steady player, who doesn't turn the basketball over, is a great shooter, great free throw shooter. So I think we add the right pieces to this team, and Kobe's done a great job of doing that. And our main goal and main focus is, being healthy when the playoffs start. We talk about that every season, just, taking our time, not rushing situations, taking time off when we need to take time off, and getting guys healthy and getting guys 100%, because we know once we hit the playoffs and we're healthy, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Terry Pluto, Cleveland Plain Dealer. Isaiah, I was just thinking here, you were the last guy picked in the same draft where Kyrie went first. People talked about you being 5'9", you won't make it there. Now they're talking about the hip. As a person and competitor, what do you think about when people are throwing questions at you yet again?
That's just been my story. I'm fine with it. I can say if it was something new, like I average 29 a game and they still gonna talk. So I can be MVP one day and they're still gonna say something is wrong with my game, and that's fine. I accept that. I'm gonna keep using it as motivation, keep fighting and keep grinding and doing whatever it takes to win a championship. And that's just been my mindset since day one. So when it comes to basketball, that mindset does not change no matter where I'm at. I'm gonna continue to play like the way I know how and continue to try to play to win, and that's all I can do.
Think people have underestimated you quite a bit?
Just a little bit. I mean, that's just been my story, so I've been fine with it. It's been what I've had to fight through my whole career, and I'm gonna continue to fight till my career's over, and that's just what it is.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Kobe, with the Kyrie stuff going down, did you feel pressure to get something done before training camp? Did you set an internal deadline for yourself?
Good question. I think we were in information collecting mode when the stuff first broke, and we had numerous teams call about it. Just taking a step back relative to Kyrie, I want to thank him from the organization. He made tremendous contributions to this franchise and this city. This was for 6 years, and he became a champion here. And he helped us win a championship in spectacular fashion. And so I think we owe him a thank you, and we owe him a debt of gratitude. And we'll always be thankful for his exciting years with the Cavaliers. And I wanted to make sure that Kyrie heard that from us. Relative to the trade, we're just excited about today and moving forward, about the players that are on this stand and how they're going to help us. And then what Coach Lou talked about, the acquisitions we made in the offseason, how they're going to help us. The goal remains the same, winning a championship. And we think the guys are going to help us a great deal with that.
Isaiah, you mentioned in your Players Tribune piece that you don't believe Boston is better after their trade. What do you think makes the Cavs better now than they were before the trade?
I mean, bringing in a guy like myself and Jay Crowder and Big Z. Like, I don't think they've had that in the past, even though they've been championship caliber teams and they've been arguably the best team the last however many years. I think we add something that they didn't have, and that's toughness, grit, and just people who've been counting out their whole careers. Me and Jake come from kind of the same, cut from the same cloth, where we've been counted out and we're just gonna keep fighting no matter what people say. And I think that's why me and him click so well in Boston. and we were to raise that competitiveness when they were in rebuild mode to like, we're not rebuilding, we're playing to win right now. And to be able to be put in a situation where from the first guy to the last guy in this whole organization, they expect championships, we couldn't ask for anything better.
This question is for Ante. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is that right? What is it about big men from the Adriatic League that have made such good pros lately? And then for people who haven't seen your game, how would you describe it to us?
You know, it's a big difference between Euro style of basketball and NBA style of basketball. So let's say I need just a little bit time for accumulate on this type of the game. But my style of game, toughness, I'm a big guy who run well and good in defense, good rebounder. So set good screen for my teammates to help them to make easy shots and layups. So that's my style of game.
And then I have just a quick question for all three guys. Was there a building rivalry between the Cavs and Boston before, and what do you think this does for it now?
I mean, you look at Cleveland the past few years, they're pretty much at the top of the East. So those are the guys we mark on our calendars to defeat on a nightly basis every time we match up against them because we were fighting to own the East as well. So it was something building there, I would say, because we were eager. We was eager to get to the top. A lot of guys counted us out early. And we just wanted to just get to where those guys are at, and that's run the East for a long time. And, I can tell from when he matches up against those guys that he wants to win each and every time. So yeah, it was sort of a rivalry, especially inside out.
Isaiah, Adam Himmelsbach with the Boston Globe. Even though you're only in Boston 2.5 years, there's a sense you kind of established a legacy there, the way the fans embrace you. When you have a time to look back, whenever that is, what do you think your legacy might be, or what do you want it to be?
I haven't had time to think about that, but I just want people to remember me as someone that left it all out there on the floor, but not even that. Most importantly, was a good person that respected everybody, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. I can be a really good basketball player, but how was I as a person? And I think that speaks volumes from when everybody heard about the trade, from getting text messages from, and I'm sure Jay did as well, from everybody in that organization that wasn't on that court but was with us day in and day out. That means more to me than anything. And also just having that relationship with the fan base. Like, I want to build that here in Cleveland. I want them to know that I'm coming here and putting my hard hat on each and every day, and I'm going to give it my all till the end. And we're expecting to win, and I'm expecting to win the championship here. So I think that's bigger than being remembered as a legend on the court is how you're remembered as being a person that respected everybody, no matter who they were.
And Jay, just real quickly, this summer obviously there's a lot of attention. They brought in Gordon Hayward, drafted Jason Tatum. Were you kind of excited about coming back to this team, or did you have concerns based on how the kind of roster was shaping up?
I mean, yeah, a little concerned because we got a lot of wing players, stacked up. So, and by the way, I got every email you sent me, every phone call you call, I got it too, by the way. But yeah, it was a little concern, and I made it clear to the organization that I was concerned about it, and I just wanted some little direction, and I think they gave it to me with the trade. They gave me what they wanted to do. They showed me what they wanted to do. I respected it.
Jeff Shadell, News Herald. Ty, talk about how is your team going to be different now without Kyrie?
Well, Kyrie was a big part of what we did. And like Kobe said, probably making the biggest, shot in Cleveland history, being one of the biggest shots in NBA Finals history. And he was a big part of what we did. And just like to say thanks to him for what he's done. And, but now my thing is that we have to move forward. We got to get this team ready to gel together, be on the same page, and one common goal, and that's winning the championship. And I think the guys that we have here, the guys Kobe assembled for our team, I think we have a great chance of doing that. And I talked about guys already, and adding Jeff Green, who's a guy who can take it off the glass and pushing 94 feet, make a play at the basket, gives us athleticism. He's a great passer. D Rose, who averaged 10 points in the paint last year in New York, who averaged 18, 5, and 4 of getting to the basket. I think playing with our team and the way we space the floor and the shooters that we have, he'll be living in the paint and be able to do that. Calderon's a steady guy who, like I said, is a backup who come in, is not going to turn the basketball over. Great shooter. He's a great passer. And then, just waiting for when Isaiah gets healthy. And then adding Jay Crowder, who's a guy who can guard 4 positions, make open shots. He can get to the basket. So I'm just very excited for what we have. It's going to be different, without Kyrie as far as, to start a guy who can go one-on-one and get a shot off at any time, But from another standpoint, we're going to change our offense a little bit and do things a little different. And, I'm very excited about that opportunity. I'm very excited about that challenge. And once we get everyone back and get everyone healthy, I know we're going to be a great team. So I'm very excited for it.
Isaiah, I share Joe's sentiments about your Players Tribune piece. It was really illuminating. But what's it been like for you to go through this process, being on a contract year, and does that add pressure to your mindset of integrating yourself to Cleveland?
No. When it comes to basketball, there's no pressure. I work too hard to even think about pressure. So when that time comes where I'm able to be on the court and play at the level I know I can play at, that will take care of everything else.
Kobe, this question is for you. You've talked about. This is my second question. Yeah. So anyway, with your timeline for Isaiah, can you say that it does or does not include the possibility of surgery?
Our plan is a non-surgical plan.
Y'all hear that? Everybody wants to be doctors now.
Brad Bourneville here for the Boston Herald. Just quick question for Jay and for Isaiah. Discuss the importance of building a relationship with the fans. How do you build those relationships and how do you keep them stronger?
I think just how we play. I mean, how we play is what attracts everybody to us. Like when we played in Boston, we just gave it our all each and every night. And that's what they wanted, and they fell in love with us. And I think by coming here, that it doesn't change. We're just gonna fight each and every night, and they're gonna see that no matter what, we're gonna give it our all. And I think that's what makes people like who we are. And I mean, Jay can answer that as well.
It's not about social media, anything like that, connecting with them. It's all about showing what you bring to the team and showing how much you respect the game of basketball. And from that alone, you win over fans just by giving it your all and playing the right way and playing and competing at a high level.
This question is for Isaiah. In your Players Tribune, you mentioned that your dream at one point was not just to be a great athlete, but to be a great Boston athlete. In the last few days, have you had time to reassess what your overall dream is now?
And I want to be the greatest player to ever play, and that's just who I am. So it was about that in Boston, now it's about that in Cleveland.
Sherrod Blakely, Comcast Sports Center again. This question is for you, Coach Lou. You mentioned a little bit earlier about how it'll be different without having Kyrie around. I wanted you to could you list some of the differences between him and Isaiah, and just what does Isaiah bring that's maybe a little different than what you have had in the past from Kyrie?
No, what I was saying, because Isaiah's not going to be starting the season, so I mean, it's not really a difference. I mean, they both can score the basketball. Both love the big moment, the big stage. Both are great free throw shooters. Both can score at a high clip, at any given second. So there's not really a big difference, as far as scoring the basketball. They both can do that with the best of them. So just like I said, getting Isaiah back healthy, add him to our team, and we look forward, for him doing some of the same things that Kyrie did for us. Our offense is going to change a little bit, but for the most part, we're going to do the same things. And like I said, I want Isaiah to be aggressive, be who he is. I'm not going to hold him back, and he doesn't have to come in and look to fit in. Just come in, play your game, be who you are. And that's what our team is all about, and that's what they welcome. They want guys to come in and be themselves. Kyle Korver and all the new additions that we had over the years, they all come and they fit in well. And just being who you are, and we'll be able to adjust.
Guys, I'm Michael Bevan with the Akron Beacon Journal. Isaiah, you're going to be teaming up with LeBron, like we said, and also Derrick Rose, a guy you've played with against over the years. And for you, Jay, going up against guys like J.R. Smith, what's it going to be like being on their team now when you guys have built up those rivalries?
I mean, it's going to be great. Like I said it before, to be able to be on the same team as arguably the best player to ever play is going to make the game easier for all of us. And then you add guys like you said, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, and Derrick Rose. Like Derrick Rose is really good, and he's still really good, and I think his peers know that more than anything. So having guys like that on the team, it's just, at the end of the day, it's going to make it easier for everybody. And like Coach said, once we gel and figure things out, and this is a team where I've watched from afar, no matter if there's new guys on the team midway through the season, a guy like LeBron makes it that much easier for everybody else, just because how good he is and how good everybody else is. And you can see it's a team. It's really a team that likes to have fun, and they're excited about everybody's success, and you don't get that a lot.
Yeah, it's basically from an outside looking in, you see how as a team they gel. And I'm gonna come in and do the same thing. I'm gonna be a professional. You gel with the guys. You try to build relationships with them because it makes the game a lot easier once you do so. So first and foremost, you come in, you try to be a good teammate to everybody, and you gel because without camaraderie in that area, it's tough on you to get wins every night in, night out. So that's why I look at it.
Alex Super 92.3 The Fan. Coach Lou, have you given thought to playing Jay with LeBron at the same time and what that gives you defensively?
Yes, I have. Yeah, great question. But no, I think, adding a guy like Jay, who I talked about, can guard 4 positions. He's going to make it easy for LeBron. Having Jay and LeBron on the floor together at the 3-4, Jay can always guard a tougher opponent, which allows Bron to roam, which he loves to do on defense, and pick off steals and passes and anchor our defense by talking and communicating. So it's going to be a great duo defensively, and I'm excited for it.
Jay, Fred McLeod, Fox Sports Ohio. Two-part question. What was it like trying to slow down LeBron James, and now being on the floor with him? How much do you relish that opportunity?
What was it like trying to slow him down? It's like it's very tough. Obviously, he's the best player in the world. It's tough. I try to study him. I study play calls, as Coach knows. It's tough. You got to do your homework for sure, or you get embarrassed. And I learned that the hard way early in my career. And from that point on, I took it very serious to match up with him because he's a hell of a player. And he just got my respect just by the way he approached the game. And for me to play alongside him, it'll be pretty scary for opponents, to play alongside of us too, with how dominant we are on the court and how fearful we play. It'll be very exciting for us to get along and play alongside each other.
Spencer Davies, Basketball Insiders. Just for both of you, IT and Jay, to come over here to Cleveland.
Oh, okay, I see.
Sorry. For you guys to come over here to Cleveland, the relationships you guys have on the court and off the court, how much easier is that on you guys to make the transition over here, especially coming from Boston together?
Yeah, I got the phone call. I immediately called him. He said, "Good thing I'm going with you." First thing.
Real.
I was like, yeah, that makes it a lot easier. You might make the transition a lot easier for us. And I remember I had just got traded to Boston a couple months before he did as well. And like they said, they was talking about tanking. And I come in the locker room, he's like, "What's that? And you gonna lose on purpose?" That's not gonna happen. So from that point on, we clicked and we knew we were on the same page with this basketball thing. And from that point on, the rest was history.
All right, that's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you.
Great.
Great job, guys.
Great job.